Okay, so you fought Ifrit a couple times, maybe you got his weapon, maybe you didn't. But I think it's time for us to actually look into getting you some endgame gear. So there's a couple quests lined up that'll take you to the Wanderer's Palace and Amdapor Keep. So queue on up for Wanderer's Palace. We're gonna have some fun. And we see me here rolling in what I normally wear, but you can really go into this wearing the same stuff you went into fighting Ifrit with. This is all dark light gear. I'm wearing my AF2 body, and I've got Garuda's weapon because I think it looks better than the relic weapon. But really, again, gear isn't that huge a deal, though better gear will certainly make your life easier. Now, as I said, there's a couple quests that lead into unlocking Amdapor Keep and Wanderer's Palace, which in endgame are 2 of the 4 dungeons you're probably going to be running a lot. The other 2, of course, being the final 2 of the main story. I'm not going to be doing videos on those because you've really had to have gone through those to even get here again, but for beating those dungeons, you are gifted with 100 philosophy tombs. And for beating Wanderer's Palace and Amdapor Keep, you're also gifted with, I believe, 30 to 40 mythology tombs. Now, philosophy tombs is what you're going to want to be focusing on at the moment, though mythology tombs are going to be really important later on. So we're going to Wanderer's Palace in an attempt to get you some tombs. Now, Wanderer's Palace has the benefit of being easier, in my opinion, than Amdapor Keep, and it will potentially get you a better weapon. It is worse than Ifrit's weapon, but it's still a better weapon than what you would have ended with otherwise. If you decide to go to Amdapor Keep, which I will also be putting a video up of, that one is much better all around. Not only does it give you more... Sup, Proto? Not only does it give you more mythology tombs, but it also gives you access to item level 60 gear, which is a nice step towards the dark light gear that you'll be getting for the philosophy tombs. So with that said, we're going to go into Wanderer's Palace first, and then I'll be showing you Amdapor Keep later. So let's skip on ahead to when I actually get in. Hey! Aww. There is some kind of troll out there or something that does this, which is why I don't click confirm right away. I don't know what the deal is. Hey! Wait a second, and then hit it, and then we wait for our party. And we're waiting. And go! Now, much like fighting Ifrit, the first thing you're going to be shown is a cutscene, which you're going to want to double-tap escape and click yes, so you don't waste people's time. Maybe the first time you're in the dungeon you want to watch the cutscene just so you've, like, seen it once, but it is sort of wasting people's time. We've got to run these a lot. And it would appear our tank actually feels like watching the cutscene. So we're just kind of all here twiddling our thumbs. There we go. I put on Fists of Fire because any tank at endgame should be able to keep hate off of me easy enough. Though I'm getting to the point where I am well-geared enough that I am occasionally encountering a dude that has at least a little bit more trouble than before. But really, I haven't had any trouble with somebody keeping hate off of me. Now you'll see up ahead a Tonberry and 2 adventurers running up to beat on him. Stand back and watch, because there's really not much you can do. Oh, we're thinking we can squeeze by? No, I guess we can't squeeze by. Once those 2 kill him, they will run ahead, and 2 Tonberries will spawn in his place. the tank is going to grab these Tonberries and pull them a little bit farther away from that little central area, because the first third of this dungeon is a race. You see, those other two adventurer guys, treasure hunters, have run off and encountered a Tonberry stalker. This is a huge guy, and he means business. You can't kill him. You can't even target him. And he will wreck you if he catches up with you. So the race is, as soon as that Tonberry stalker kills the two treasure hunters, he'll keep walking and come after you. You can't see him yet, but trust me, we'll see him later. So you kill those two Tonberries, and in the next room is a couple bronze buzzards, and the tank's just going to take them and run on ahead, so I'm going to go over and grab this treasure coffer. There is zero reason to not grab that treasure coffer. All it gives you is money. Really, who doesn't want money? But the tank's going to grab the buzzards and haul them right up here to where there are a whole bunch of little beetles that die exceptionally quickly to AoE. So AoE them down, then focus again on the buzzards. Different people can run this kind of dungeon at different paces. One of the biggest issues in dealing with this dungeon is the pace that the person wants to run it at. They may run up and beat on the first enemy and kill them and then move on, then beat on that one, then move on. They may try to speed run it and grab like 18 dudes and run through clear to the end. Be prepared to adapt a little bit. The goal is to get to the end of this first little section and not get killed by the Tonberry stalker, which is why we will generally move ahead when given the option. Now, in fighting the enemies, killing the Tonberry is your priority 1, so target him and get to beating. You have to kill the Tonberries in order to open the doors so you can progress. I don't know if you have to kill all of the Tonberries in this early area or just the very last one. I've never avoided killing a Tonberry, but regardless, I've always seen Tonberries as priority 1 to kill. At least in this early area, I usually see people go after the gear grease, which we've just now encountered, as the second priority. I'm not entirely sure why, but the gear grease do an area attack around them, so that's something to be careful for. And then we've also encountered another new enemy here, the Pug Pugil, which, once again, does have an AoE. It's a directional AoE, but forward. Screwdriver, of all things, to all you Final Fantasy XI fans who are having nightmares right now. Kill these guys and move on. There's a couple safe spots in this room if you want to try to avoid the Tonberry stalker. We're actually going to be running up to one here in a moment, since there's not really much to cover here, but just keep beating on these guys. This isn't really a safe spot, but it's better than where we were. Now, if you saw just a moment ago there was a treasure coffer sitting off to the side that we all ignored. That's for two reasons. A, there's just trash in it, so nothing useful of note. And B, if you even get near it, a bunch of enemies spawn in the area. It's just dumb little beetles, they're easy to kill, but it is a trapped chest, and we have more important things to do. So, with all that said, we're ignoring that chest, and we're going to try to get moving, kill off what we can so we can actually get the crap out of here. Because I imagine by now that Tonberry stalker is actually starting to get a little close. Yep, you could even see him back there, and the tank is taking these and running with them so we can get a little more distance. Now there's a Tonberry up here. Or are we not? No, there he goes. There is a Tonberry up here. As soon as you kill this one Tonberry, the door at the far end of the room that you can now see will open. utmost priority to get this Tonberry killed so that door is open. Otherwise, that Tonberry Stalker is just gonna walk right up to us. Though I'm not entirely sure who's attacking what, but it appears I'm soloing this Tonberry, so the fate of the party is in my hands. Yes, I am actually soloing it. Nobody else has any hate. And there's the Stalker, and I got stabbed. But the Tonberry is dead, and the door's open! Quick, everybody, through the door! Pull the enemies, I don't give a crap, come on! As soon as everybody gets through the door, the Tonberry Stalker gives up chase, returns to its lair, which essentially means it despawns. And we don't have to worry about it anymore, and we can now spend all day beating on these things. Now, I don't like it when enemies beat on my healers, which is why I'm over here beating on this cog oil, because the tank hasn't been pulling hate correctly. I thought warriors were better at handling, like, groups, and paladins were handling the single enemy? I honestly don't know. But regardless, let's go ahead and finish these guys up here. And with all of them dead, we can now enter the room of the first boss of the area. The dungeons typically have 3 bosses in them. The first one in here is the Keeper of Halidom. Once again, there's some nightmares for the Final Fantasy XI folks. This boss is an exceptionally easy boss. Tank and spank, I think somebody mentioned about it. The tank should be able to, assuming the white mage... That's not a white mage, that's a scholar? I think a scholar? It's the other healing class. Uses a book. The tank should be able to pull hate and just keep the Keeper standing right there in the middle of the arena. You can beat on him. That is one attack you want to be wary of, and that's actually a 2-part attack. That hit the bard. The red area isn't actually the attack. The red area is a suction, where he will pull everything that is caught in that directly to him. Then, he will shake himself wildly and scatter a number of spores that put a bad status effect on you. The reason I run to the right, not only out of range of the red, but purely to get the crap away from him, is so I don't get hit by the second part of that attack. He's doing it again here, and once again, I'm just running the crap away. There's the scatter, and I can run right back in. That attack there, off to the right, is the second attack you actually have to worry about. And that one, I have a little bit of trouble getting out of the way of it in time. That may just be lag on my part, though, because it often felt like I would get way out of the way of it and still get hit. But that's the secondary attack, which will do an amount of damage to you, of course, and will, again, put a bad status effect on you. So try not to get hit by that one. But aside from that, it's really not that hard. And I just kind of stood there and took that one because I wasn't paying attention. So I now have the status effect on me. I think it's... No, it's still going. I can't tell what it is there. It looks like it's the one on the far right on my little bar. I think. Maybe. It's hard to tell at the resolution that I'm editing this in. And then he died. I limit broke him there at the end because I didn't care if I got hit by whatever. Just... He's low enough. I'm just going to kill him. Did I limit break him? I wasn't paying attention, I was looking at the little status effect. But our limit break gauge is empty, so I assume I did. But for beating him, you get a checkpoint, so if you die, you can now go back to this, you can jump straight to this room. And secondly, you get an item. Hey, items! Yay! Now we walk into the next room, and hey, a Tonberry, so let's go beat up on that Tonberry. Now when you kill this Tonberry, he will drop lantern oil. This is important. I'm going to ignore it because I'm dumb. The tank tried to sneak by the pug pupils. Everybody tries to sneak by them. I've seen like one person successfully sneak by them. You're going to be fighting these pug pupils. Now, also of note is that there are 2 Tonberries walking this path, and there's the other one. And of course, I don't like it when things beat on my healer, so I'm going to go over and beat on the Tonberry. And apparently the warrior's just gonna kind of let me, because I'm currently the only one with any hate on that Tonberry. Okay, we've killed everything. There's more lantern oil. Collect the lantern oil. This is important for opening doors. We should actually be coming up on one here soon. There's, of course, some gear grease in the room, as well as another Tonberry. But you can see there are 2 rusted Nymean devices in this room. Since they're rusted, you have to use the oil that you collected to activate them. This is, in fact, what the healer is running off and doing, I think. Ran off to the right there to handle that one. And you can actually see to the right how many oils we have left. I could have sworn I was going to see the mage run over and handle that second one. I know he does. Do it. Come on. Okay, there we go. Running over and activating the second one. With both devices activated, the door opens and we can leave the room that we're currently in. Okay, there we go. Room cleared. We can now leave. The open door is right behind us. There is another rusted Nymean, whatever. There's another one just before us that the tank is getting. To open up the next door, there are 4 of these scattered about the area. I'm not sure if you have to hit all 4 of them to open the door or not. We've always hit all 4, so I'm certain all 4 of them are important. At the end of the hallway, you saw 2 more adventurers, who, just as we got close enough, started beating on another Tonberry Stalker. So there's another Stalker that's going to be wandering around behind us back there, should we get around to him. But head up the stairs here to where these skeleton duders are, and you can see off in the distance there another Nymean device. That one is not rusted, however. You do not need oil to activate that one, but it's the second one that we will encounter. Somebody's going to run over and get that Nymean device, I'm sure. Yep, looks like the tank's getting it. So there's 2 more further ahead, and during the little sped-up section there, I'm sure you saw a Tonberry Stalker wander by out here. And there he is! Hi! In general, you can kind of hide in these corners and he'll leave you alone, but he's already kind of following us in here, so that didn't work. At this point, you just have to hide from him. We pulled him, we weren't fast enough, and we pulled him when we didn't mean to, so at this point we're just kind of getting the crap away from him and trying not to get stabbed a bunch. You can get healed by him. I mean, you can get healed to recover from the stab, but it'll generally do 1/3 of your HP for every stab he does, which is kind of a lot, which means you kind of don't want to get stabbed. And once you get far enough away from him, you can outrun him very easily. Once you get far enough away from him, he'll slowly return to his path and continue on in the same pattern that he had been walking in before, which means he's staring straight at us, and he actually has a very broad visual range in front of him. He can see a lot of things in front of him. However, he's almost blind behind him. You can walk up and stand like right there behind him. Okay, you know what? If we can just get by this guy, holy crap. Okay, he has returned to his path, so we can go back down here and start beating on these corrupted Nymeans, which these are mages. So they won't follow you quite as far as you would like them to, they will cast spells, and I do believe they have an AoE that centers around them. So that's another thing to be wary of. Yep, there he is. So he's wandering by down there. Now, we need to kill those tonberries that are beyond him as quickly as possible, because they will drop more oil that we can use. So, beat on these. Now, this is where I think both me and the tank misunderstood how far that tonberry stalker will walk before he turns around. We should have pulled these tonberries up onto the stairs. I was a little bit slow on that one. That was my fault. I knew that was the stalker that targeted me, so I just ran up as high as I could and hoped I was far enough away from him. So the stalker will wander back down, I'll continue beating on the tonberries, and hopefully all will go well. Now we did just kill the one tonberry, and he did drop some lantern oil, which I suppose I'll go ahead and grab here. And then we'll get back to work on that other tonberry. So, I've picked one up, but again, they're held party-wide. The whole party has these things to use. He dropped a second one, which we'll go ahead and grab. The rusted device is right there. That's one of the two. The second one is at the far end of the hall. And at the far end is another tonberry stalker. He actually walks only this small bit of the hallway right here. Now, what the tank's going to try to do is grab all of the enemies in there and pull them away. I'm going to try to sneak in there and grab the device, which I'm realizing I can't do. The bard's there, so I figure I'll run in and grab the tonberry stalker. Or he could just turn away, whatever. So I'll go ahead and activate the Nymean device then, since the tonberry stalker is just going to wander off and do his own thing. This treasure coffer, go ahead and open. There's literally no downside to it. It's free money. It's no fancy item or anything, but it's free money. So, just grab it. So make your way, this door now opened, and we can now go in and beat on the remaining duders. And with them dead, we now have a free path straight to the boss. Now this boss is actually, personally I believe, the hardest boss of the palace. If you can beat this guy, I'm pretty sure you can take the final boss of the palace. The tank will run in and pull hate, and generally just try to tank him right here in the middle of the arena. You can beat on him as much as you can, and the beginning of the fight isn't really that bad. However, periodically, this guy will do a couple things that are a little troublesome. Which he should be doing here soon. Yep, there we go. He summons a bunch of little dudes. Now, these little dudes actually take an amount of a beating to kill. They don't take forever to kill. They go down pretty quickly. But you do need to focus down these ads, because after not too long, you will see the boss's eyes focus on a single target. We'll probably be seeing here soon. Yep, there we go. Now you see on the mage, or was that the bard? A little target, that's the bard, a little target appeared on him. At this point, the boss completely ignores who he has hate on and chases that guy the crap down. When he gets to him, or after an amount of time, really, he uses a small area attack that you do not want to be standing near. If you're standing near it, it will wreck you, and if you've lost much health at all, will potentially kill you. But after he does that, he'll go back to fighting the tank again, and you can beat on the boss again. Now, once you've done a certain amount of damage to the boss, or some such, he will start spawning a fourth ad instead of the three before. The fourth one is the blue dude right there. That blue dude is your priority one to kill. He wasn't my priority one to kill here because I didn't actually realize the intricacies of this fight until after editing this, or recording this, I should say. but that blue one is your first priority to kill, because he heals not only the boss, but the other adds, making him even harder to deal with. Your second priority is the purple one. At least I think it's the purple one. Who will actually cast paralysis on you, which is really crap when you're trying to run away from the boss at the end. Between paralysis and slow, which is I think something else he'll put on you, there's all the dudes spawning again. I did go for the blue one first. That was purely an accident, but I did. But when he's chasing you down, they will paralyze, they will slow you, and that, I think, is the work of the purple one. So kill the blue one so he's not healing anybody, then kill the purple one so when the need to run away comes, you can successfully run away. Okay, now his eyes are targeting me, so I Fist of Wind and get the crap away. Run! I've got heavy on me now, I've got paralysis on me now. I'm getting healed and I had enough distance that I can still, like, make it. And everything's back to the way it was. We did not have a chance to kill all the ads in time, but the boss is nearly dead, so I'm just gonna run up and friggin' limit break his sorry butt, and that's the fight. I will say, once the blue one shows up, it becomes difficult to kill all of the ads in time. So, focus down the ones you have to focus down first. It will make your life easier when the time comes. And do your best to still keep doing damage to the boss. It's a little bit of a DPS race once it gets to that point. For beating him, you've unlocked another checkpoint, so should you die after this, there's a shortcut right back here. And there are 2 items that drop from the chests. Now the third and final stretch, the long haul, actually really isn't that long. It's actually a fairly short area. Now, it's safe to fight on this little entryway here, so you want to kill them, and the tank will try to pull the Tonberries down without going too far up the stairs. The reason for that is if you go too far up the stairs, the Tonberry Stalker will spawn again and start chasing you down. This final area is another race. So yeah, race. In fact, it's kind of a combination of the first and second area. Because not only is it a race against the Tonberry Stalker, but you have to kill the Tonberries to get the oil so you can use in the last room of this. So kill the 2 Tonberries. One of these 2, the first one didn't drop it, so I'm sure the second one will drop the oil, and you need 2 oils. The second oil will actually drop from a Tonberry at the very end. Again, I'm kind of recounting what's happening here and the reasons it's happening here, but do keep in mind that, okay, I guess he didn't drop it, whatever. That treasure coffer is also free reign to grab. Only open it if you really, like, care for it, though. It's got the little slime minion in it. The Tonberry Stalker is chasing us down, and he did drop the lantern oil there, so we can grab those. So we can grab that. I didn't, because I missed it, but I'm pretty sure the bard's back there getting it. But we just ran straight on forward, so we could get some more distance between us and the Stalker. Now these Tonberries, there are 2 of them up here. One of these 2 will also drop an oil. I, A, don't like it when things beat on my healer, and B, know that we have to kill the Tonberries first, so I'm trying to beat on these Tonberries. Now this may get a little bit sketchy here because once again the Stalker is like right around the corner. So try to kill them. Yep, there he is. I can see his land. Yeah, he's coming. And there's the Stalker coming in to say hi. Okay, I was really hoping that one would drop the lantern oil, but he didn't. We have 1 lantern oil from the dudes that we fought before, so we could potentially open one of the devices, but it would be pointless to without both of them anyway. Somebody's over there trying to, but he keeps getting stabbed. I figure, well, I'm over here and the guy left, so whatever, I'll go ahead and do this. Now, we don't have the oil for the other one. We've got to kill that remaining Tonberry there, and I got a little confused because I was kind of hoping that maybe it did drop somewhere and I missed it, but no. Now, what I'm trying to do here is slowly walk away in hopes that I can drag the stalker farther away, but I think that heal pulled hate off of me, so now I'm just kind of left here confused. We still need to kill that Tonberry. This guy is completely blind behind him, so you can sneak up behind him. And then I will shoulder tackle past him, which actually lets him not see me. And we can take down this Tonberry while dancing around the stalker. So grab that friggin' lantern oil. Open that friggin' door, because he's right there. And get the crap through. Once we are all through the door, the mage was actually a bit further back. Once we're all through the door, once again the stalker will go home and leave us alone. He's back there somewhere. He's making it. There we go. Alright. And then the boss. A cutscene will trigger as soon as anybody walks into the arena. Double tap escape. Hit yes to skip it, because we've got crap to do. And then it's boss time. Now, this boss really is not that hard, especially if you have at least one good ranged DPS. Specifically here, we do. We have a bard who's reasonably well equipped. But if you have that, then this boss is actually pretty well a cake. Tank runs up, grabs the Tonberry King, and will tank him standing right there in place. I go up and start beating on him. And that's really it. I don't have to worry about anything. I can just DPS to my heart's content. In fact, this is one of very few situations in the game where I can just DPS to the point that I actually run out of TP. This is like the second time this has ever happened to me. Now, throughout the course of the fight, little Tonberries will spawn along the perimeter of the arena. The reason you want a ranged DPS is because they're kind of far away, and it helps if you can hit them without having to run everywhere. Almost every DPS is better at taking those down than Monk. I've only actually had to kill those Tonberries myself once. Well, I've only been assigned to kill them myself once. I've had to cover for the other DPS not really being up to snuff a couple times. If the Tonberries get too... Tonberries will slowly close in. They do all have hate on the tank until you beat on them anyway. And they will come in and start beating on the tank. So A, you don't want them all beating on the tank. And B, I think... I don't actually know, because I haven't experienced this from a tank's point of view, and I've made good on trying to kill them. But I think when the Tonberry King uses everyone's grudge, I think it does damage to the tank based on how many dudes are nearby. I think. But that's about it. As long as the bard keeps the Tonberries dead, you can keep beating on the Tonberry King to your heart's content. You get 2 limit breaks against a... Since it's just a 4-man dungeon, you get 2 limit break bars against the final boss. So you want to beat on him until you, A, have filled up your limit break gauge, and B, the boss is nearing dead. I actually find right about the time I run out of TP is a good time to use it. And that's about the size of it. It's really not that hard. Apparently I pulled hate. Yes, I did. Oh, that's right, I remember this fight now. I was actually, like, just dancing below how much hate the tank had. You can actually see hate gauges up in the upper left, just to the left of our names. Just dancing below how much hate the tank had. And I was kind of hoping that I could do it and not have to lay off, but no, eventually I pulled hate. So there's the limit break, boss is almost dead. Again, near the end of the fight, much larger tonberries, you can actually see them in the distance, tonberry slashers, much larger ones will spawn. I don't know what happens when they get near the tank, but I don't want to find out. But that's it. Boss dead. Skip cutscene. And that should do it. You gain 30 tombstones of mythology. Over the course of the dungeon, you've gained a total of 100 tombstones of philosophy. And opening the chest will get you a weapon. That's a item level 55 weapon, which is not as good as Ifrit's, but it's probably better than what you came here with. But that's it. Wanderer's Palace complete. I'm out.